Well, good afternoon, folks. It's Real Captain Kirk here. It's the 23rd of July. Again, a hot, steamy day here in eastern Pennsylvania. We're live from One Bethlehem Plaza here in downtown Bethlehem, Pennsylvania. A lot to talk about here today. We're going to actually share with you here at the end, again, how we help our big financial services clients not only look at the past weather, but the year ahead weather and how it'll influence retail sales, equity prices, back to school, all that kind of good stuff here. So hang on to the end for some of our fall outlook. First off here, last week, world summary here on a big scale here. So this is 17 through 23 July. This is a big map as temperature trends versus last year on a retail calendar. Here in the U.S., hot, 3.6 degrees warmer than a year ago, warmest in 11 years, second hottest in 37 years. So much above average. Precip also on the dry side, 24% drier than last year, driest in 7, fifth driest in 37 years. So hot, dry trends are good for things like auto batteries. You've seen a lot of cars on the side of the road because auto batteries, compressors, belts, antifreeze, all those things break in heat, high heat like this, especially they're in the south central U.S. Pool chemicals, vegetables, fruits, beverages, of course, all those things do exceptionally well. Store traffic, not so well. Again, we will probably head to the beach, the lake, backyard barbecue, pool. So again, it can hurt overall retail sales, but again, help these must-have seasonal items. Canada, again, also warm, but the difference up there is they're wet, so they had a pretty wet week. Cold spot would be down in Russia, southwest Russia, coldest in 7 years, and Australia also the coldest in 11 years for their winter. Maps since it left are the trends versus average. Other thing that's expanding here is drought. We're up to 69% again. So again, worst in 10 years, second worst in 22 years. About, again, 69% of the country in dry to drought phases. Average would be about 46%. Getting some relief maybe in the southeast, southern Ohio Valley here the next couple weeks. So we'll see, but Texas will continue to bake. Looking at this week here again on the U.S., a little bit cooler. Models struggle to find the cold air, but again, here it comes. So the record heat in the plains will diminish here this week. So overall, about 0.2 degrees cooler than last year, coolest in 3 years, still eighth warmest in 37 years. So cool spot will be there in the Midwest Great Lakes. They'll take it after the scorching heat. Precip about 16% wetter than last year, 15th wettest in 37 years, so above average. Again, we'll see. That cold front won't make it all the way into the south and Texas for sure, so it'll just stall out. And where it stalls between the cool and the hot, you're going to get some shower thunderstorm activity there from, let's say Kansas City into the Washington, D.C. area. So where that front stalls, it'll be wet and stormy here this week. Looking at next week here, again, hard to believe we're getting into early August already. Someone can slow down summer if they want to here. Moving by at warp speed. 4.1, again, the cool's gone, so 4.1 warmer than last year, warmest in 11 years, second warmest in 37 years, so much above average national temperatures. Where it was cold there in the northern plains, it's back to being hot. Precip up a bit, almost average, just 2% wetter than last year, 18th driest, so right in the middle of the pack average on a national scale. Again, some relief for the southeast and southern Ohio Valley. Still pretty parched there. Some rain there maybe in North Texas. We'll see. They would take it, but dry along the Gulf Coast states. We look at these 2-week world trends here, just aggregating them through 6 August. General theme is cool across Alaska and Canada, hot here in the U.S. Again, the brief cool down. Still warmish in Europe, not as extreme as it's been. So again, a little bit above average, but again, not the extreme. Map inset left is the trends versus average. We talked to some of our financial services clients here this past week, and again, how this weather, both past and future, will influence retail sales. So these are some of the big Fortune 500 companies that we work with. First thing you do if you're going to convince Wall Street and anybody that if you can predict the weather year ahead, you can also predict sales. So got to get the weather right. This is the bars are the year ahead forecast, the dotted lines actual. Here year to date, we've been trending about 82%. We've done really well here capturing this, the cooler June and the hot July. In fact, Precip Trends did really well capturing the drought, dry July here. So green bars are wet, peach bars are dry, dotted lines actual. So about 86% year to date on national Precip Trends. The other way to compare a year ahead forecast is to compare it to something NOAA, right? So NOAA puts out a month ahead forecast. So this blue line is actually our year ahead forecast, let's say for August, something we said a year ago for this coming August, versus NOAA's month ahead forecast that they just issued here for August. So orange line is NOAA. About 85% of the time we outperform themselves in some cities that they forecast for a year ahead versus they're about 15%. And then Precip, even a little bit better. Green bars are year ahead versus the peach bar is their month ahead Precip outlook. So about 86% of the time. So again, and then short range, again, we're pretty good, typically top 1, 2, or 3 in terms of accuracy for short range weather. Now this is just days 1 through 14. So get all that right. Next thing you got to do is be able to figure out retail sales performance. So we've quantified this 10,000 times for seasonal categories and across the 20 years. So again, this time of year, hot, dry weather is good. We had that. That's the good news. That's good for hot seasonal items. But now we're getting into a transition period where we need to get these humans off the beach, the lake, the pool, and back to thinking, back to school, and back to work. So you look for wetter weather this time of year, colder weather to start to influence those fall seasonal purchases. So this is just, again, how we help them quantify it and then predict this by store, by week, everywhere in the world. We call it our Power 1 degree technology. And again, so we just give an example here of every degree colder in Q3, the fall, there's about a 5% increase in women's outerwear. If it's 10 degrees colder, you buy about 50% more. So again, having analyzed this thousands and thousands of times, again, these rules of thumb work pretty well. We can then predict it into the forecast. So the forecast is our forecast for Columbus Day, the 4 days around Columbus Day weekend. It's a kind of critical holiday in Q3. We actually have that period pretty good, 4.5 degrees colder than a year ago. Doesn't sound like a lot, but that's the coldest in 10 years for the nation as a whole. So that's about a 23% increase in women's apparel outerwear sales. So again, that's kind of how we quantify it. We look back at Q2 here, which was hot here in the U.S. Warmest in 4 years, second hottest in 37. Same trends in Europe. Warmest in 4 years, third hottest in 37 years. So hot and dry were the themes across the U.S. and Europe, which is good for the must-have seasonal items: pool chemicals, auto battery failures, bottled water. And then we did a Q3 outlook here. So this is the easy forecast for us. A little bit cooler than last year, still above average nationally, but again, cooler is better for seasonal fall sales. And Europe, unfortunately, is still warmer and hot. So their sales may not be as good for fall. So again, that's just kind of how we help big Fortune 500 companies plan a year ahead. With that, folks, we hope you have a great week, and we will be back here again this time next week.